Okay.
Okay.
Good afternoon. I'm Montgomery County Commissioner Judy Dodge. After I speak, Commissioner Debbie Lieberman is speaking, and then our Health Commissioner, Jeff Cooper, and then our Sheriff, Rob Streck. Today, the Montgomery County Commissioners passed a resolution to declare a state of emergency in Montgomery County, Ohio. Montgomery County, as one of the largest counties in the state, must take necessary precautions wherever possible to protect our employees and our citizens and prevent the spread of the coronavirus. This resolution formalizes our emergency status, allowing us more flexibility with staffing as well as procurement procedures. Taking this step is necessary and will allow us to obtain resources and support we need to address this pandemic from both the state and federal government. We would also like to thank our partners at the state, especially Governor DeWine and his panel of experts, for making the difficult and necessary decisions that will protect the health and well-being of all Ohioans. Yesterday, the county began transitioning to emergency operations, focusing our resources on only mission-critical operations. This means that our leadership team has reduced staffing levels for non-essential services and that we are laser focused on providing mission-critical services at this time. As a result, some normal day-to-day functions and services will not be available because these are not normal times. I want to reiterate that we are exercising our emergency authority to protect the lives of the people of Montgomery County, especially those who are at greater risk if they contract the virus. Commissioner Lieberman.
Good afternoon. Yesterday we informed the Montgomery County employees that we would be moving to emergency operations, and so I'll talk a little bit about what that means. We want to make sure that we are providing core and mission critical services to our citizens. And yesterday we implemented a flexible leave taking policy for all of our employees, and that included adding 2 weeks of special vacation time, so 80 hours of additional vacation time, so that employees who are deemed non-essential can stay home. And this means that we will be minimizing and freezing any programs and services that are not mission critical in an effort to protect the public at large and our employees. We are also freezing hiring, and all non-essential spending has been stopped. We have also notified all essential personnel to report to work or work remotely where appropriate and approved by their supervisor. Departments are being mission critical operations. They've begun that, which means some of these services typically offered by the county will not be available at this time. For example, some of the courses that are being offered by the Business Solutions Center will be postponed till a further date. And it's important to know, though, that our core services will still be available, such as the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Benefits, or SNAP, and the unemployment benefits. And I think we've seen a lot of conversation about the unemployment benefits in the last few days, and our office is still moving forward. It may be taking a little bit longer. I know that we were flooded, the state was flooded, so just be patient. We are asking that citizens request those benefits online when possible so that we can have as little physical contact at the job center between our employees and the public. We have listed online those applications that are available and resources. They're also on our Facebook page and all of our websites. And some of those online resources include applying for your benefits. I'm going to read this, but you go to Montgomery County's website and you can see all these. SSP benefits, ssp.benefits.ohio.gov, or call 937-225-4148. And again, we're asking that citizens please refrain from going to the job center to seek the services. Now, if you must come to the job center, we ask that you use our kiosks to apply for services, and those kiosks are being treated and wiped down and secure, but take all the precautions that we've been hearing about if you have to go there. For the unemployment benefits, you can do that online, and that is unemployment.ohio.gov, or you can call 877-644-6562. The water bill payments can be made online at www.mcohio.org/water. Or, again, we can do it over the phone at 937-781-2688. And in addition, our facilities team has increased the disinfection protocols at all of our buildings, not just the job center, all of our buildings. But again, we're asking people, if you don't need to come to our buildings, please don't. As of now, the BMV is still open, but I know that there have been requests of the governor to see whether or not that's going to stay open. So there is activity in the lobby of this building. But if you can't, or if there's a reason that you have to be here, we get it, but we would rather that you not, for your own safety. I know that the auditor's office and the recorder's office, while they are closed to the public, they have a drop-off box in the lobby, and someone is down there to answer questions. So just know, I mean, we know that people come in and out of this building all day long, but you know, these are exceptional and challenging times. And on behalf of the commissioners, I just want to say that the county stands ready to continue to deliver those services that our citizens and businesses need in this time of a special need. And even as we ensure the safety of our wonderful employees, we're still here. We're open for business still, but it's going to be a little bit different for those, well, we don't know how long, but we are here, not closing down, and really want to protect our wonderful employees who give so much to our community. And so with that, I am now going to turn it over to our health commissioner.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeff Cooper, Health Commissioner at Public Health Dayton, Montgomery County. Thank you, Commissioner Lieberman, Commissioner Dodge, Mr. Colbert, and Sheriff Streck for your collaborative nature and the fact that we're all working together to respond to this unprecedented public health emergency. No question that this virus has spread globally. It's throughout this country, across all states. A week ago, Ohio had 0 cases. As of yesterday, 50 cases. That number will continue to grow. Montgomery County currently has 0 confirmed, laboratory confirmed cases. It's only a matter of time. We know the virus is in our community. We know it's spreading. It's not really about whether we're going to get a confirmed case or not. We know there are individuals in Montgomery County who've been infected by this virus. So it's incumbent upon us as a system of partners to make sure that we are responding appropriately. The initial strategy to contain the spread of this virus focused on monitoring travelers, instituting some travel restrictions, and then if we identified individuals who were symptomatic or ill, that we would ask them to self-isolate. Or if and then as we identified those individuals that they came in contact with who were well and were not demonstrating symptoms, we asked those individuals to self-quarantine. Well, it became readily apparent that in this state and every state in this country, and quite frankly across the globe, that containment strategy alone was not enough. And as such, we've moved into mitigation, meaning social distancing measures. And we've all seen the orders and the recommendations that are coming from our governor and the director of the Ohio Department of Health. We are witnessing social distancing, limitations on movement that we have not witnessed in our lifetime. But this layered approach is necessary to control the spread of this virus. So we need to continue to have some containment measures to isolate ill individuals, and we need to distance ourselves from others, and we need to avoid mass gatherings. I think we're all now very familiar with the 6-foot rule, right? You can't even walk into a room without now being aware of the fact that you might be too close to someone. So, and that's important. That's how we ultimately will control the spread of this virus. We all know how this virus spreads. Close contact within 6 feet and respiratory droplets. It is not an airborne virus, meaning it does not remain airborne and simply circulate throughout rooms. Someone coughs or sneezes, and then those respiratory droplets are directly deposited onto another individual or onto a surface. So you either cough or sneeze directly into someone's nose, eyes, or mouth, or you cough, sneeze directly onto a surface, someone touches it, and then touches their mouth. Yes, that sounds gross, but that's the reality of how this virus transmits. So it's very important that we all adhere to the messages that we're hearing. Wash your hands. Keep your hands away from your face. Cover your cough and sneeze. If you're sick, stay home. That's the best way to break the cycle of transmission of this virus. So there are many actions that are underway within Montgomery County. As a system of partners, we are working collaboratively to make sure that we meet the needs of our community, and we'll continue to build out that response as more and more restrictions are placed on our movements by the governor and the director of the Ohio Department of Health. I think a key point, though, in closing is that we want to make sure that everyone is treated equally. And we have to be aware that as these restrictions are placed on us, vulnerable individuals and individuals of lower socioeconomic status tend to be placed at a greater burden than others. So all of our actions collaboratively, let's make sure that every single person in Montgomery County has equal opportunity to stay healthy during this unprecedented global pandemic. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Rob Streck, and I am proud and honored to be the Sheriff of Montgomery County, Ohio. My wife just texted me and said, "Quit touching your face." Just about the time Jeff said, "Don't touch your face." So,
My phone vibrated, and I know what it was. That's my wife, too.
I took office in 2019, January 2019, and since then we have faced some amazing challenges and several tragedies. This is just one more event that will affect almost every aspect of all of our lives in this room for an undetermined amount of time. Everything at most agencies is changing on an hourly basis. I can give you an example. The way the sheriff's office issues concealed carry license and renewals changed 3 times today because of difference of opinions in law and interpretation before we were finally able to say, okay, this is how we're going to do it for the near future. So it just goes to show you that it is a fluid event even when it comes to law. Our mission is to be responsive to the community safety needs and make Montgomery County a safe place to live and work, and we will continue to adapt to every event that occurs so that that happens in our great county. I assure you, my deputies, dispatchers, corrections officers, and all of my other staff are protecting and serving just like the other law enforcement agencies in Montgomery County. It's important to remember that as new orders are placed by the state of Ohio and the governor, that we follow those orders. My deputies are prepared to enforce those orders, Luckily, there have not been many times where we've had to go in and enforce an order. We have not seen a spike for calls for service. We have not seen a spike for crimes. It is just the opposite. Most agencies' dispatches are down right now, and we will do everything we can to keep that occurring. We want to continue to warn individuals about scams. We know that whenever this stuff occurs, when tragedies occur, when strange events occur, the predators come out. So we want to please ask individuals not to give out their personal information to people or companies they are not familiar with. Please research any donations that you make for charity organizations before you give your money, and scrutinize every piece of mail or electronic mail that you get from financial institutions asking for information or requiring you to click on a link on your computer. We do not want individuals getting into your computer or installing viruses onto your computer. So remember that. Unfortunately, even though most people are at the top during events like this, there are people out there trying to take advantage of others. We want to keep saying and keep reiterating, if you see something, say something. We have to look out for each other. We have to. Our neighbors have to watch neighbors. Our friends and family have to watch friends and family. If you see something in your neighborhood that you think is odd or suspicious, call. We have a new saying in my office. It's that's what we do. When somebody asks me something, my answer is that's what I do. That's what we do. Call us. Call your local dispatch center. If it's something you see that's not in progress or life-threatening, use a non-emergency line. Save 911 for emergencies, but do not hesitate to call, because once again, in these times, as people's travel is reduced and there aren't as many things out there for people to do, many options, we want to make sure that people don't get into mischief and that don't take advantage of our loved ones. So I want to also explain to everybody that law enforcement in the court system is fully operational. We may restrict activities that are non-essential. We may restrict access to buildings, but the criminal justice system is moving along just as it should. Law enforcement agencies are protecting, enforcing laws. Courts and judges are seeing those cases and deciding on what occurs. That is not stopped. The Montgomery County Jail is fully operational. Even though we have restricted access to inmate visitations and programming, the jail is operating just as normal. We have encouraged our law enforcement partners that if they have an option to booking an individual in the jail, try that option. But if a deputy or police officer believes that incarceration is the best, we will take that person, screen them with every recommendation that is done by the state of Ohio and the Center for Disease Control, but the jail continues to operate normally. Actions taken today by the county commissioners will ensure that we can make emergency procurements in case we need to quickly put resources out into the community. I thank you for that. Unfortunately, we know that there have been times that we had to get resources out to our community, and it was a learning experience then, and we're in a learning experience now. So, just as we saw the tragic events of 2019, be assured that the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office, all of our other local law enforcement agencies, our fire, EMS, all the first responders out there are here to provide service, protection, and medical help to our citizens, and we will be here. We are dedicated. everybody in those positions take an oath, and they will do that oath, and we will do everything we can to keep our employees safe. But just let me end by saying, please remember to be courteous and kind. It is going to be more and more difficult to do. But as we know, orders set by the state who restricts more and more activities, those are being restricted to make sure that we get through this pandemic as quickly and with the fewest amount of people infected as possible. So thank you for everything you do. The media has been great. Thank you all for what you did and what you will do in the future. Have a good day.
Okay, before I open it up for questions, I have to introduce County Engineer Paul Gruner and Michael Colbert, our wonderful, wonderful administrator, county administrator. So, thank you. Oh, you were going to say something too. I apologize. I touched him.
Good afternoon. I'm Paul Gruner, Montgomery County Engineer. Just to review what our office is doing, all of our road and bridge maintenance workers are out keeping the county roads safe. We, except for those who are sick or caring for family members, and I thank the commissioners and Administrator Colbert for leading the way with the 80 hours of additional vacation time so that they feel like they can stay home if they are safe. They're exercising all the precautions like Mr. Cooper enumerated, and everyone should know by now of social distancing, hand washing, etc. And they work generally apart from each other, so we feel it's safe for the time being. That's generally the process that most of the county engineers' offices are following. Our office is, as far as our office staff, we have about half of our staff work telecommuting, and our office is restricted access from the public, but we encourage people to call the office at 937-225-4904 if they need assistance or they need to deliver documents. We're going to continue to review plats and deeds for property transfers and continue with our design activities in the office. So I'd like to thank the commissioners and Administrator Colbert and all the elected officials, the sheriff, and everybody's been working together. Thank you.
Chief, you want to open it up for questions?
Yeah.
So this is probably either for one of the commissioners or for the administrator. The 80 hours of additional vacation time, do you want them to use it whenever they feel is necessary, or do you want them to use it if they would feel symptoms and need to be quarantined? In other words, is there strings on that, or is it at their discretion?
Thank you. As Michael Colbert, Montgomery County Administrator, as the commissioners mentioned, we've got various forms of leave. So if someone is sick and they need to leave immediately, we have sick leave, and we also have long-term sick leave. So almost all of our employees have that. What the 80 hours did that the commissioners and the elected officials agreed to was allow those individuals that predominantly are out with their children due to schools closed or due to daycares being closed. It gives them the flexibility, if they are non-essential personnel, to be home with their families. We are trying to have as many of our employees do teleworking as possible, but all of our employees cannot do that. So the 80 hours of leave really gives them the flexibility to assist with their families.
How many essential versus non-essential employees do you have? And do the essential employees also have access to this leave too, or is it only non-essential?
All employees have access to the leave. We are still in the process of evaluating our overall mission critical or essential versus non-essential employees. We have that list completed now. It is fluid department by department, and it depends on what happens daily, either from the state or from the federal government. Example is this week we expect that the federal government will increase our ability to issue emergency EBT card or SNAP benefits and emergency unemployment compensation benefits. Therefore, some staff that we would have deemed non-essential will now have to come in and actually be part of the essential staff to get those benefits out to our citizens.
Any estimate, like 50%, 70% of essential personnel?
I wouldn't want to give you an estimate. It moves kind of every day. The total population, we've got about 5,200 county employees, and that goes back and forth between the various offices, and it changes almost daily.
Do you have a lot of employees out right now on leave?
We have a sizable amount of employees that are either on leave or teleworking from home or on a remote site. But as the commissioners mentioned, that will not impact core services. The sheriff talked to you about the jail complex and road patrol. The county engineers continue to support our roads. Our county commissioners, we are the regional supplier of water and sewer. We are the regional supplier and distributor of trash. We also have our Stillwater Center and our Job and Family Services. The county core systems will be there for the public, and the commissioners have stressed that, and we are going to make sure that we have the staff and the infrastructure available to serve people.
Do you have some examples of non-essential services? Or?
Yes, an example would be if you go to economic development team, the economic development team is split between building regulations, which will still be available for services, but we can take our economic development team and we can send the bulk of them into a remote mode.
And what types of expenses do you expect to have procurement-wise related to, I mean, you know, the emergency declaration was supposed to open up, make it easier to do procurement and kind of circumvent normal procedures. What kind of emergency expenses do you expect to arise?
We'll probably have the same expenses that we always had, but what the procurement will do is if things come at us, and for example, if we had to change suppliers because a supplier was out of a key service or a key good, it gives us the ability up to $100,000 to do just a 3-letterhead bid instead of a full procurement process, which means we can very quickly pivot when that supplier and choose another supplier.
Michael, I know that at this point the cost isn't the key, but 5,200 employees and an extra 80 hours of leave could be a pretty sizable hit to a county budget. Do you anticipate you may be able to be reimbursed for some of that spending from state or federal?
We are hopeful in the bill, and as it is written coming out of the House, there is supposed to be some level of government reimbursement. It looks like also they will have reimbursement for the cost of testing through to insurance companies. And we're also looking forward to seeing the impact also not just on us directly, but indirectly due to sales tax. Right now the economy is taking a hit, and with the economy taking somewhat of a hit, that is going to have a direct impact on sales tax. So we'll continue to work with the state and the federal government, but this is going to be nationwide. Everybody is going to feel this, and we'll make the necessary adjustments.
How much of your general fund budget is sales tax?
I can't give you the actual sales tax exact figure, but we can get that for you. But our general fund budget is about $150 million total budget, and so we keep all of it's not just sales tax. We look at what we get from the real estate taxes, what we get from federal taxes, or federal, and what we get from the state.
So how much do you think coronavirus is going to blow a hole in your budget, and if so, how do you hope that federal sources would be the way that you plug that hole?
I would hope that the Fed and the state will work together, including, if possible, state reserve resources, that they will all come together and recognize that local governments are going to take a big hit here. And in order for us to continue to provide services, we don't want to push renewed costs down on our taxpayers. Our commissioners and our elected officials have been very conservative. They've maintained balanced budgets, and this is something that was unpredictable. So it's going to take all 3 government sources to work together.
Do you have a surplus at all that you might rely on?
We do have cash reserve, and we have mandated what's called budget stabilization, but we in no way have the resources to cover this kind of long-term impacting pandemic.
Can I ask the sheriff, screening-wise, do you have any particular screen? I mean, you mentioned that you might screen people coming into the jail. Are you going to like screen them with thermometer? I mean, like anything?
Yeah, I mean, everybody coming into the jail, they're obviously asked the questions about where you've been and do you feel. Their temperatures are taken. They are listened to make sure there's no respiratory distress. And our medical provider does all of that before they enter the secure area of the jail.
Do you do that anyways, or are you just doing that?
No, this is new. We have a screening process, but it's not near as rigorous as what we're doing right now.
And do you have like
special thermometers that they've always had, or I saw Miami County did something with thermometers.
Our medical provider has that equipment. We did not have to go out and provide or buy them new types of thermal and things like that.
For commissioners, I wanted to ask you because the first time you see this meeting, people are going to ask right away. You had one missing commissioner today. Can you comment at all on her and why she wasn't here today?
She's feeling better. She wasn't feeling too good a couple days ago, but she's feeling much better today. She is very much involved, and by telecommunication, we've been talking to her, and she's supporting us, and she should be back up and running the next day or two. So thank you.
She's self-quarantined?
Yes.
Okay.
She's following guidelines.
Well, Title 20, be considered essential or non-essential? You know, people who need child care and all that, workers who can't go to work and stuff like that.
Title 20 under child care, also there are multiple components of Title 20, so there's also Medicaid and there's also TANF benefits. All of those services are considered essential, and our Job and Family Services operations will be open so that individuals can apply for and continue to get benefits.
I think we're pretty good on questions. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here.
Thank you.